we talked about all the things that happen when your body is acidic, right? It puts you in the state, it puts you in a state of vulnerability, right? Because it affects your immune system. It allows for viruses to proliferate, to get worse.
If health is a state of mental, physical, spiritual, and social well-being, a state in which the body is functioning at 100% and not merely the absence of disease, then why is it that black people are the least healthy race on the planet?
Welcome to Black Health by Evoke, a podcast where we discuss the unfair access to care, health inequality, and the cultural and generational impact of poor health in our communities.
It's time for us to take responsibility for our own health. Meet Dr. E, Dr. T, and myself, Dr. V. We want black people to be encouraged and empowered, for our people are perishing for lack of knowledge. It's time for black health to thrive, not just survive.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? Back and at it again.
You know.
What's going on, fellas?
Everything is going on, man. It's a lot going on in the world. That's why I'm glad we're here, because our job is to take care of our little sliver of it, right? It's to address the health needs of our people in a way that is different than is currently being addressed in most cases. That's why I love doing this, man. It's because we get the opportunity to talk about things that aren't talked about in the proper way. You know, it's stuff that's talked about. You know, we talk about health and all these things, but in my opinion, you know, solutions are so symptom driven that they're not giving solutions. And, you know, one of the things I appreciate about our podcast is, you know, we do our best anyway to try to give people solutions to the issues that they're dealing with.
Definitely. So what's the problem that we have today?
Man,
what's going on? What's the misconception that we're dealing with today?
You know, I was on the. I'm sorry, Doc. Go ahead.
No, I'll use you on because I want to hear this.
I was on the highway. I mentioned this to y'all before. I was on the highway the other day, and I'm driving, and I look up and I see a billboard, and it said, "Milk is good for your bones."
Oh,
and I said, "Huh." I didn't know we were still doing that. I didn't know that was still a thing, right? I didn't know that this
milk does a body good.
Marketing ploy, right? That this marketing ploy was still working. I thought we had already worked through that.
Bo Jackson drank milk.
We had worked through that.
He had the milk mustache. I think Bill Cosby did, but
everybody had the milk mustache.
I mean, everybody had the milk mustache. Right?
And not all them people.
St. Louis, Mark McGuire hit all them. Them home runs because of that milk mustache.
Yeah, man, Sammy. But guess what? not all them people vegans. So because as we learn, we grow, right? As we learn, we grow.
We should.
You know, and for a very long time, the dairy industry did a really good job marketing their product. You know, milk does a body good is a slogan that did very, very well. You know, in the United States market as selling us on the fact that milk actually did a body good, that it was healthy for you and all those things.
Had me drinking milk.
Yeah. It had me drinking milk too. You know, yeah.
Banana milk, chocolate milk, strawberry milk,
lemon
cereal.
Milk. You know what I'm saying? Chocolate milk, all that stuff. I couldn't. Let me ask y'all this: in school, was y'all the white milk drinker or was y'all chocolate milk drinker?
Oh man,
I got distinct opinions about that.
That real good, man.
That's what I'm talking
about. Oh
man, so I do it like this.
Yeah.
In the little bitty carton.
Right.
But you know, that milk though, when you look at it, I myself personally, man, I stopped drinking milk, like just drinking and using it as cereal for about 10 years now. The very first year I did it, I think in 1 month I lost 10 pounds, and by doing nothing more but just not drinking the milk. And one of the things that I'm seeing so much more in practice now are people coming in with these allergies or these conditions that they don't get better, and it's due to the fact once allergy tests are given, it's because of their ingestion of dairy. Milk being, one of the things primary source. And I'm wondering, why do we think that is?
Yeah.
Why do we think that is, as far as with a lot of conditions?
Why is it affecting a lot of conditions, or why we feel? Yeah.
Why is it affecting a lot of people like this, and causing a lot of things, as far as in negative terms with their health, negative impact with their health?
Well, I mean, I think it's already, it goes back to what Dr. E was saying in the beginning. It's been a marketing scheme for years to make us think a certain way about milk, whereas the devastating effects, the things that are in milk and the responses that it causes in the body is something that's been well documented as well. It's just not, because we've been so ingrained with thinking that milk does the body good. Well, the doctor told me I need to drink more milk for vitamin D, or I need more milk for calcium, or I need milk for my kids so that they develop strong bones, and all this stuff is what's still in our heads. But we all know that, especially when it comes to kids, the minute we have kids come in and one of their main issues is sinus congestion, allergies, and all these different things, the first question that we ask is, what is their dairy consumption? How much milk do they drink? So I think now it's the helping people to understand now the dangers or the adverse health effects of drinking of having dairy in the diet.
Yeah, I think we're at a point now where it's really pretty straightforward. Like this is not breaking news that we're giving out right now about dairy, and it's not us saying that that we're the experts and you should listen to us. There's loads and mountains of research about the negative and harmful effects of dairy on your body in all these different ways. And one of the primary reasons for that, and Dr. Bart, you talked about allergies, like allergic reactions, and I think one of the things that's interesting for us to talk about at this point is an allergic reaction and how it can show up in the body, right? Because a lot of times we think of it maybe just as sinus congestion and things like that, or like a reaction on the skin, right? We think of allergies that way, but there's a lot of things that indicate that you're having an allergic reaction to something. Your digestion, right? Inflammation in the body, all of these things, eliciting dehydration. Absolutely. Like all these things are allergic reactions that you can have, and sometimes people they haven't identified that this particular thing like dairy is causing these issues that I'm dealing with.
Right.
So what ends up happening is they just symptomatize it, right? They deal with the issues without looking at why they having the issues in the first place.
And the big thing, the research behind it is this, and Dr. Everett, you brought up a tremendous point that I want you to expound on a little bit in a minute. But the thing about how our body develops autoimmune disorders or cancer, right? Is this, okay? When your body has something in it that it does not agree with, or that it doesn't bond with, it doesn't know what to do with it. So it's an irritation. So constant irritation anywhere in the body, being in the body, causes the body to attack itself, or it causes abnormal cells to start to develop. So what you mean, how am I get that drinking milk? It's got calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, everything I need for some strong muscles, right? But what they don't tell you is in your milk, you have antibiotics, steroids, and pus. Now I know you're like, oh my God, Dr. Volk, what about my Oreos?
You're not getting ready to do this. You're not getting ready to do this to me.
It don't feel good. But I wanted to read this to you, Dr. Everett and Dr. Tip, because I see you looking at me like that, Dr. Tipler. And I don't know if you still like double stuff, but I did the Oreo, man. Yeah. But I see you looking at me like you mad. So I got to read this to you to clear things up. All right. An udder infection, an udder is the thing that hangs down, like the thing that you pull to get the milk out, like when you milk it, right? An infection of it is called mastitis, and it's very common in dairy, cows. It causes pus to leach into your milk. And because dairy milk is pooled together in large tanks, virtually all dairy milk contains this. Virtually all. Isn't that wonderful how they say stuff? All of it is. Virtually, that's the same thing, right? A liter of milk can have up to 400 million somatic cells, pus cells, before it's considered milk unfit to drink. So our government will allow us to have 400 million somatic pus cells before it's unfit to drink. I don't want one somatic pus cell on my double stuff inside of the cream mixing that I can't see. Right? I don't need no more, Dr. Templer.
Well, I mean, the problem is that if they didn't have it at 4 million or whatever the number is, then there would be no milk on the market.
You couldn't sell it.
Couldn't sell it.
And then you can't
Which
get
is
people
crazy.
getting their vitamin D.
Right. Because there's no other way to get vitamin D. There's no other way in the world to get vitamin D other than drinking the milk with the red top. Right? That's the only way you're going to get it.
That's the whole milk. That's the whole milk, right?
That's the only way you're going to get vitamin D. What are some other sources of vitamin D, Dr. Silver, while we on that subject?
Sunlight. The sunlight. Go outside.
Yeah, that's it.
Go outside.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
It's easy.
You mean
outside? Just walk outside. Get you some sun. Get you some sunlight. Go for a walk. The best source of vitamin D.
Mm-hmm. It's really, really simple. The best source of vitamin D. Also, whole food supplementation of vitamin D. If you happen to live in Alaska and it's dark for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
So supplementing in the right way, along with that sunlight, are great sources of vitamin D, and then you don't have to infect your body with the things that are in dairy.
Yeah.
Dark green vegetables too. Don't forget green, man. That dark green leafy, man. I tell you what, that vitamin D, critical, especially if you don't get much sunlight.
I tell you another thing, if we just look at it from this standpoint as well. So we have all these people that drink vitamin D, and I want to take this to the women that are listening right now. Most women, they go to the doctor, they get their checkups every year, and one of the things that's common that we hear, especially in black women, is that you're deficient in vitamin D.
Sure,
now, most of these women they drink milk, they eat all these dairy products, which again, cheese, which is supposed to be a good source of vitamin D, but yet you're still deficient in vitamin D. So something is wrong with this picture. And I think these are the things that we have to start looking at and questioning when you go to the doctor. And if you're someone that drinks milk and has drunk milk for several years, and you eat cheese, you eat all the dairy because that's what they told you. You need the dairy for the vitamin D and calcium and all that stuff, but yet you go to the doctor and they tell you you're deficient.
Yeah.
You should be asking the question, why? You told me
again.
Yeah, you told me that if I drunk milk and did ate all this dairy, that it would give me the vitamin D, calcium, strong bones, muscles, all these things that my body needs. So why am I deficient?
Right.
But that's not the question that we ask.
Exactly. So one of the things, and I've heard you tell this story a number of times, Dr. Tiller, so I'm gonna let you jump in. But we'll often have practice members who come in our office and say the doctor said that I was deficient in vitamin D, so then they prescribed me.
Yes.
Right? They prescribed me vitamin D. Doc, what do we see oftentimes?
One of the things I see is that these people are taking, like 500,000 IUs or more of vitamin D a couple times a day because that's what the doctor has told them to do. And every time I ask them, let me see what the pill looks like, it's a big white pill. And, it's prescription or they get it over the counter. And the thing I always tell them is like, look, the reason why you're having to take so much of this vitamin D in this little pill is because your body is not even able to basically utilize most of that, whatever is in that pill. It's a lot of filler. It's a lot of stuff that's just not doing your body any good. So they have to give it to you, prescribe it to you in large doses in order for your body to be able to utilize just a small fraction of it. So then you're taking vitamin D for all these years, and you go back to the doctor after a year of taking 500,000 or more IUs of vitamin D every day through supplementation, and yet you're still deficient. And the thing is the sources that they're choosing to get the vitamin D from. The body can't do anything with it.
Right.
So we always talk to people, if you're drinking milk or you're eating dairy to get that benefit of vitamin D, there are other sources. Like you just mentioned, Dr. Vaught, green leafy vegetables, broccoli. It's proven that there's much more calcium, vitamin D, and broccoli than you can get in drinking milk. But yet, I don't want to eat vegetables. I don't want to eat this. But yet, we'll choose to drink milk that has how much of the pus cells that the have with it.
Man, I'm still stuck on pus. Like, I remember falling, and under my nail I got an infection, and it was some pus. And when it leaked out, it kind of was gooey, and it hung, and it was and it was nasty. And like drinking that,
did you then take your finger and put it in your mouth and suck on it?
Well, I need to dilute it down first, Dr. Everett. The 400 million units of in a liter.
Because that would be gross, right?
Right.
That would be gross to do. That'd be disgusting to do.
Yes.
But you could you could have dipped your finger in your coffee and did it like this and then drank your coffee, right?
Yeah.
Or put your finger in a bowl of cereal and swirled it around like this and then ate your cereal. No, that would be gross. Is what you're saying. But millions of us do it every single day. We do that exact thing, right? That's an infection that we're consuming. Another animal's infection that we're consuming, and that can have, especially over time, a devastating effect on the body, because obviously if you bring in those toxins into the body, your body's going to react. It's going to have that allergic reaction like we're talking about. And and again, health is not complicated, right? Health is simple. It's sometimes not easy, but it's always simple. So another reason that milk can be an issue is something that we've talked about before. Is milk is very acidic. So if milk is very acidic, we talked about all the things that happen when your body is acidic, right? It puts you in the state. Yeah. It puts you in a state of vulnerability, right? Because it affects your immune system. It allows for viruses to proliferate, to get worse. It allows for cancer cells to grow and proliferate, get worse when your body's in an acidic state. So if you're consuming dairy, then you're contributing to that state that causes you to be sick.
Doc, can I give you guys something to think about? Man, you just said something,
please,
Dr. E, that got me over here. I'm a little puzzled right now. I'm just a little puzzled. So, if milk is supposed to give us strong bones, right?
Okay,
that's what they say. Strong bones if you drink milk. Milk does the body good. All this stuff, but yet milk is acidic. Doesn't acidity also cause the breakdown of bone and causes bone to be more brittle, which can lead to osteoporosis and all these different things?
It's crazy.
Crazy, I'm a little puzzled, man.
You putting it together over there. You're over there like
okay. So I'm
commissioner right now.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
But that's exactly it, because one of the things they talk about is milk being a great source of calcium, right? And milk does have calcium in it, but here's the problem: milk is acidic, and so when you bring something acidic into your body, guess what is one of the best neutralizers of something acidic? Calcium. And guess what is the greatest source of calcium already in the body? Your bones. So guess where that calcium comes from to neutralize the acid that you have now put into your body through milk? Guess where that calcium comes from? The bone. So that calcium comes out to neutralize the acidity of the milk, leaching that calcium out of your bone, depleting the calcium in your bone, and leading to those conditions like we talked about, like osteoporosis. So it's crazy. It's crazy when I drive down the highway, downtown St. Louis, and I look up and see a billboard promoting milk being healthy, right? And my question is, how is that legal? How's that even legal, right? So you could just say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want about your product, whether it's true or not, and it's okay. And which is the reason that we have to do this podcast. The reason we have to do this podcast mostly is misinformation. Is people being told things for the sake of money, right? It's people being told things for the sake of, changing and manipulation and getting people to do the things that companies want them to do and buy their products, as opposed to putting out information and doing things and saying things that are going to help people to get healthy.
Yeah.
So that's why we got to be here. That's why we got to be here. And, and all the people on this wellness side of healthcare, right? Because, and I always make this prediction. Because in 30 years, the medical community is going to come out with an article that says milk might not be so good for you. Research studies show that milk might not be so. I'm telling y'all right now, write this down. I'm like Nostradamus. It's going to be an article where they're going to say milk might not be so good for you. Research studies show, right, that we've done it at this clinic in this university and found out that it may not be good for you, even though we've been saying it forever.
The thing is, and what I would like to see, which we know is not going to happen, but what would happen if you gave people both sides? So now we're just giving you, we just gave you,
that is so true.
what it is that milk does and how they promoted milk and why they promoted milk, but also giving you the dangers of what it causes and what it leads to and the reactions in the body that it causes and alternatives to that.
Yeah.
What would happen if this is what was posted? Milk can do your body good or bad. Look at this. And you decide.
Yeah. Well, because, all the information means that you can't direct people into doing what it is that you want them to do if you get them all the information, right? And that's what holistic health is based in. Holistic health is based in looking at the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
How this affects that is really what it is we do on this side of healthcare, and looking at your body as a whole, looking at the picture as a whole, lifestyle, society, what you consume, what you think, how you live, all of those things is how we decide how to get you healthy.
Absolutely.
And that is not always financially beneficial for everybody.
So I used to be a tremendous milk lover.
It's not complicated, y'all. And I think what Dr. Tivoli is really pointing to is the necessity to do the research, the necessity to investigate and not just accept. Don't even accept our information, right? Don't accept any information. Do your own homework about your health and, and even more than that, your family's health. Do your own research and your own work and figure out what's best for you to be doing, because there is no better investment. There is no better investment than in your health.
Yeah.
I think that's it, man. And as usual, we appreciate you guys. We love and appreciate everyone for listening to our podcast and consuming this information, doing your own research, and sharing
the
Black Health Podcast by Evoke with as many people as you possibly can, because we want everybody to hear this information.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening. Let's evoke you getting closer to a higher state of health.
Thank you for listening to Black Health by Evoke.
He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything.
You can find us at www.evokingblackhealth.com or all social media platforms at Evoking Black Health.